I'm not here to bash the church in this video, but I do have a sincere question if you'll hear me out. Hey everybody, I'm Amber, a disabled gal here to reveal or remind you that you're complete in Jesus Christ alone. So last week I made a video explaining the problem of the qualifications for services for basic activities of daily living. To summarize, every state is slightly different in their rules, but they all either look at your income and or your assets, and if you're married, the income and assets of your spouse. And each state decides how much or how little you can have before you won't get any help with your daily living activities. So it's really a way to control and keep people in poverty, unfortunately. If you want to hear a more in-depth explanation of that, go check out last week's video. In this video, I'm posing a question to the church. What I'm wondering is it actually appropriate to leave people with disabilities at the mercy of this secular, corrupt system? Should the church be stepping in and helping meet our actual needs? Now, I know what you might be thinking, but wait, the church will go bankrupt if we do that. Okay, exactly. Now you see the problem that families are facing. It's funny how people shrug off the practicalities until I ask who should be responsible. Right now, I'm not asking about the practicalities of the church's budget. I'm trying to hold the church accountable biblically. You can't speak out of one side of your mouth saying families with disabilities need to just trust the Lord's provision, but then you're concerned about bankruptcy. If churches are either unable or unwilling to help, then should we still expect people with disabilities to submit to this ungodly system? What they are requiring of disabled people is in contrast to the Word of God. Depriving people of basic human needs because they have a job or because they are married is not biblical. Also, what I'm really asking is, did God intend for disabled people to be left in the hands of a corrupt system? A system that makes us choose between marriage and surviving, or having a job and surviving. Both of those things are good things that we get punished for doing. Romans 13 verse 3 is very clear that the authorities shouldn't terrorize people for doing good, but yet here we are. I was actually just thinking, I really wish there was some sort of non-governmental program available to people with disabilities that they could have affordable care and they don't need to meet all these strange and many times downright unbiblical requirements or restrictions that these Medicaid programs often places on them. To my knowledge, there really aren't other programs to meet our needs in this area. Really, your options are paying out of pocket, which is very expensive and most people can't afford that, or relying on unpaid family and friends, or these Medicaid programs. If you know of some sort of affordable program that can actually meet our needs, please put it in the comments because I would love to learn about it. Like, I would love that. But to my knowledge, that program doesn't exist, or if it does exist, it's so small that it's only available to a small number of people. Since to my knowledge, this program that I'm wanting to exist unfortunately doesn't widely exist, I'm just wondering, like, should the church be stepping in? And don't get me wrong, I know there are plenty of Christians who do support charitable organizations and things like that. But as far as the average person like me, we couldn't just waltz up to a church and say, hey, I have these medical expenses that are over $100,000 a year. I don't qualify for this government program. Can you help me? I don't know of a lot of churches that would either A, even have the resources to do that, or B, if they do have the resources, actually be willing to do that. So, like in history somewhere, did we do people with disabilities a disservice by saying, just go get help from the government? Like we don't have the resources or the time or whatever to actually help. Like, I don't know. And yes, our goal obviously is the Great Commission, go and make disciples. But for our brothers and sisters with disabilities, how can they be a disciple if their basic human needs aren't being met? And obviously, I know like there's persecution and all of that, but shouldn't the church be stepping in to help when things that are wrong are happening? Like, in the same way that it is our role to step in and fight for the protection of our preborn neighbors, it should be the role to step in and protect people with disabilities as well. And now, I'm not saying we should just make people comfortable on their way to hell and not share the gospel with them. We don't want to go in that extreme, but we also don't want to go so far in the other extreme where we're not actually meeting people's needs. Because when we're not, how are they going to hear the gospel? Like, these two go hand in hand. Now, at the end of the day, I know that even if the church is failing in this area, my hope is not in other Christians. My hope is in the person of Jesus Christ. But I do just want to urge my fellow believers, like, what is the proper response to this? Should we be taking better care of our brothers and sisters with disabilities? And I'm saying that as a Christian with a pretty significant disability. So thank you so much for watching. Please comment below. I'm kind of specifically looking for more of my Christian audience to comment their thoughts on this, but obviously non-believers are welcome to comment as well. But this, like I said, wasn't a video to bash the church. It was just like, I'm sincerely like asking. So thanks so much for watching and for coming alongside me in this.
The video you just saw was made by fallible Christians.
Although we diligently seek to represent the God of the Bible accurately, please understand that we are still being sanctified.
For absolute truth, please refer to the Bible.